How you doing? Welcome to Flash's Garage. This is the next video on our installing the front pans on our 1967 912 race car, future race car as we're building it. We're doing the front pans, and in the previous video I showed you how I had everything clecoed in. Now we're starting to rosette weld. So in all the holes you saw in the last video, we rosette welded these on this fuel cell support. Now it looks rough, and it is. It's not an easy way to do it. It'd be a lot nicer with a spot welder, but we don't have one. The real art to this is the way you grind and finish this without affecting metal thickness. That is the biggest, most important thing on this whole job, is to be able to grind and finish this and make it nice without affecting the thickness of the metal. So I'm gonna have Jordo tape me doing some grinding here in a little bit. And by the time we're done, this will look like $1 million. And we're just going to concentrate on this side here. And always remember that even though you're grinding, you're still putting heat in the metal. So always have an air blower ready. You can work metal just as easily grinding as you can welding. So here we go. So now we're putting our fuel can support in, and we've filled in our rosette welds. We've rosette welded this. And then how I ground this, how I got this finish here is, the first thing I did was I used a mini hard rock grinder, and you want to just say there's a rosette weld here. I've kind of got them all ground, but I'll do another video on it. You can see a little bit of one, you know, here. You take your rosette, your hard rock, and you just concentrate on the weld itself. You don't want to be over on either side, and you just want to knock it down to there's just a little bit of a head there. And then if you have a belt sander, then you just slowly knock the rest of the weld down. You don't want to do this or that, but you just want to kind of follow that. And in the end, you'll get a finish like this. The slower the RPM, the less, you don't want all this high RPM, because you're going to be just heating up the metal and making a mess. And on your first pass, when you're knocking all these welds down, you're going to have like little dots here, like little pinholes. Notice the you know, on some of these welds it went off the edge. So all you do, I'll come back, I'll take my welder, I'll fill that in, fill that dot in, and I'll get the thickness of my metal back. And it just takes a couple passes to just really make this nice. This is about halfway, you know, finished. Well, most of the way finished. The biggest thing is you don't want to take too much material off. You want to keep your thickness of material, as I have here. And when you look at a stock Porsche, you can see, you know, the thickness of the material basically. I mean, I know there's got the coating on it and everything, but you get the gist. The biggest thing you want to be doing here is not a lot of RPMs, don't press hard, and always keep moving. Now, that's just the way I do it. Now you can see this lip is just an initial grind, very initial grind. I'll go back and I'll fill in all these little sections here that have not been filled in or ground. Now, another point I have, when you can't, if you have to get in stupid angles with this, you don't want to do that. You want to take your hard rock grinder, and you want to have the 3/16 thick or 1/4 inch, whatever it is, that you initially flatten just the heads of the welds. You get a small one. Always work with smaller stuff if you can, and low RPMs. And I just wanted to show you how we can get, watch your eyes, Jordo. You can get the edge of that weld. Low RPM, I'm not affecting the thickness of the metal because I'm not using a lot of force, and I'm not using a lot of RPMs. I'm just kind of using slow friction to kind of get rid of these. I'm not affecting the metal. If you stay patient with this and just take your time in grinding, by the end of this, you're going to have the original thickness, and you're going to have a nice finished edge. Go in here, clean up everything. And you can clean up everything and get all these little imperfections out. Because where this gray primer is, you're obviously going to recoat that anyway. And you're going to end up, well, we are probably going to end up epoxy priming this whole thing anyway. But this is a very rough draft of what the finished product will look like. I just wanted to show you guys how I go about doing this and how I get the nice looking finish that I go for. Like I said, it's just as important the way you grind and finish as welding. And you can warp stuff, you can kill stuff, you know. And so this is a very, I've been working on this for maybe a half hour after I welded it, and I have a long way to go, but the finished product will look absolutely outstanding. Jordan, if you can swing over and look at the lips on the package tray. Never mind the stuff stacked in there, but with a little bit of effort, that's the way the finished product will look. That's what you're going for. You're going for, it's not perfect. You're gonna have a little, but that's kind of what you're going for. A nice clear look. We'll come over and get this one Jordan. You're looking for just a nice clean finish. You're gonna have some pinholes maybe, but if you give it a little bit of effort, it'll come out about as nice as it can come out. And then when you recoat this with your texture finish or whatever, you don't always have to body work everything. You don't always have to seam seal everything and make it look good. Make it look good before you seam seal it. The nicer it looks now, the nicer it's going to look when you put seam seal on it. That's just the way I do it. And this is the way Neil wants me to do it. He wants it nice, and this is as nice as I can make it. So I just thought it'd be cool to do a little video on how I would do it. And if it can help someone, that'd be great. So over and out from Flash's Garage.